Welcome to Screener to Stream It,
where we take a look at a movie that's in theaters now
versus one you can stream at home,
and we try to decide which one should you go with.
This week on Screener to Stream It, we decided to go check out Rough Night. It's a chick flick about a bunch of girls
and a few metrosexual males. You know, we thought we'd take a break from our normal diet of action, adventure, and violence.
And we like violence.
So, the gist of the story, it's about a bunch of girls get together for a bachelorette party. You know, what could possibly go wrong? They're going down to Miami, you know, drink a lot of drinks, and possibly do some drugs, you know.
Or a lot of drugs.
Yeah. Anyway, basically, it's comedy. It's a rollicking good time. What are we going to rate this one?
Well, we come to a consensus and we said 3 stars. Although I think I liked it a little bit more than you did. I think I would rate it a little bit higher.
A bit.
A little bit lower.
Mind you, not that I didn't like it, but, you know, I always knock off a star for potty humor. Again, that's just a matter of taste.
The previews make it out to be a chick flick, and I guess really it is a chick flick, and I keep using that word, but I don't think it is what I think it is. But it's a story about women, but it really, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny, and there were a couple of like girly moments in there where they did girly things, you know. It was obviously aimed at a female audience.
If I had a nickel for every time they said tampon.
There you go. But I did not, like, I didn't feel overwhelmed with it, and I didn't feel like, oh, I can't enjoy this because I'm a guy.
Well, that's fair.
I liked it, and I like guy movies, but I enjoyed this. I liked it a lot.
It had a reasonable amount of slapstick, which was expected from the trailers, but I thought a surprising amount of character development. I really expected it just to be dumb comedy throughout, and surprisingly, the characters were really well developed. I cared about most of them.
I liked the characters. I thought they were unique and individual enough to make them stand out. There were a couple of, like, stereotyped type characters, stereotypical characters. But even then, they were funny in their stereotypes. I was a little bit worried about the fat people thing, being a fat person. I was like, oh, they're just going to make fun of them for being, you know, they're going to do all these fat jokes at the time. But they really didn't go there.
No, and in fact, the one that was kind of obvious from the trailer wasn't quite what it looked like in the actual movie. It played differently and was funny for different reasons.
Yeah, so it wasn't you talking about the stripper and the death of the stripper we see in the
which is not a spoiler because it was in the trailer.
It's in the trailer. But yeah, he didn't die because it was a big girl.
Right.
She just circumstances led to his death. A few weeks ago, we talked about Baywatch, and when we did Baywatch, we said the criteria for a movie like that being good was, is it funny?
Yes.
And I thought this was funny.
I agree. It was very funny.
And it did not... I thought the characters were really good. The plot, it's been done. It really wasn't... Like, it's not a groundbreaking movie. You're not going to walk out of there going, oh man, what a fantastic story. But you had said that you liked Baywatch a little bit more, maybe, than this one.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it had more laugh out louds. Basically, the raucous laughter, when it happened, was a lot more pronounced and punctuated. However, the laughs in this one were a lot smarter. Well, it didn't take much to be a lot smarter, but they were smarter, and I could see this one being a whole lot better for repeat watching than was Baywatch. I can see that one losing most of its fun after the first time, because you know what's going to happen.
Well, and I think at the last I did have in Baywatch, I laughed harder.
Right.
But I think I laughed longer in Rough Night. It was more of a steady laughter, and there was a couple of slow moments, but for the most part, I was laughing through the whole thing, where Baywatch, I got some big laughs every once in a while, but there were a good bit of slow moments for me.
And they even threw in a couple of feels kind of toward the end there.
They did.
I was really surprised by that, and it endeared you to the characters, the ones you hadn't yet become endeared to. You finally are like, oh, well, now I feel sorry for them. Well, in a good way, I guess.
And another thing from the trailers, I was really expecting a Weekend at Bernie's ripoff.
That is exactly what I was expecting, and it really wasn't. Like, I mean, there was that part of it, but the trailer made it look like that was the movie. That was it. is they've got this dead stripper and they're trying to figure out what to do to get rid of him, and weirdness happens. But there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, it looked like the only thing in the movie was them. What are they going to do with his dead body? And that wasn't what the movie was about.
It was a large part, but not near all of it. There was so much more.
This could almost be a sub-genre of comedy movies. It might be. But it's like a comedy of errors. It's one of those where just everything they do goes wrong.
Yeah.
And it just builds and builds and builds and builds. And the death of the stripper, which like the trailer made it look like that was the movie, that was just one of those errors in a long night of errors.
The first really big one that kind of set the rest in motion, and it just...
But it was one error after another through the whole thing. You rated it a little lower, I rated it a little higher. I really enjoyed that. I laughed a lot.
Mm-hmm. And I did too, but again, it's just the potty humor is not my thing, and I totally respect that people like that, and go watch it if you do. I'm all for it.
But I honestly don't think... This is not a movie I would not run out and grab somebody who hasn't seen it and say, you should go watch this right now in theaters, you need to see it. But this is one where if it comes on TV, it shows up on Netflix. Mm-hmm. You should watch. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Make sure the kids are out of the room if you got those, because
not kid friendly.
Yeah, not at all.
At all.
And but I like that again. And I mean that's pretty much where I stand.
Yeah.
It's not a run out to theaters, but it's definitely one you should give a watch.
All right. Well, if you definitely don't want to go to theaters, what were you thinking of as a stream it option if you want to just stay home and put the kids to bed early?
Well, like I said, before we ever got there, I'm like, I'm going to compare this to Weekend at Bernie's. Like, I know it. But it wasn't. I didn't get that feeling. Mm-hmm. So, I think the straight up easiest one, and I feel a little cheap even saying it, but this was almost a Hangover clone. Like, it was a copy of The Hangover. I think The Hangover had a better story, and where The Hangover was more dude-centric, and this was more gal-centric. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, really, they're basically the same things. The Hangover was a group of guys, they're going out for this party.
Bachelor party.
Literally
a bachelor party.
The only difference is The Hangover, we start at the end and we don't know what happens, and we go back and fill in the pieces.
They retrace their steps, and hilarity ensues as they discovered what they did that night.
Which, like I said, I think the plot of The Hangover is much better, but I got a bunch of laughs and the same type of laughs. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much the plot of Rough Night. There's a bunch of girls going to a bachelorette party and a bunch of stuff went wrong. So I'm going to go with The Hangover. If you don't want to go see Rough Night, stay home. Check out the Hangover if you haven't seen it. Potty humor.
Yes, and I have
really
to.
Funny.
I agree with that comparison 100% because frankly, that is what I was going to say.
Really?
Because that is what. And I also had thought of Weekend at Bernie's at first till we actually saw it. But no, The Hangover fits perfectly for the type and I guess quality of the humor, the level, and the laughs, and it just really, those two are they're a good comparison for each other. And
I had tried to think of some other stuff. There were some like 90s comedies that were kind of the same thing with a whole bunch of things going wrong type movies. Trojan War, did you ever see Trojan War?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, nobody else did either. But I enjoyed it. But really, it's just, it's a Hangover clone. Somebody said, hey, let's make The Hangover for girls. And again, we talked about copying other... It's not necessarily a bad thing. The Hangover was hilarious. This was funny.
Yes, in this case, I'd say if it's a clone, it's different enough that they're worth both seeing if you like that sort of style. So, definitely.
All right.
Well, that's it for us this week. Thanks for watching Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights because that's when we go.